The episode begins with a flashback of Brenda and Esteban having a passionate encounter. As Brenda reaches an emotional climax, she tells Esteban that she will leave her husband because of him. However, Esteban denies her by explaining that their relationship is purely driven by pressure and circumstances. He discourages Brenda from leaving her husband because of him. Detective Vallejo and Esteban discuss Brenda's death. Vallejo reveals that a belt was used as a tourniquet and 2 used condoms containing male DNA were found at the scene. Vallejo initially suspects Brenda's ex-husband, but later rules him out since he had moved to Spain 3 months prior. Later, Esteban asks Vallejo to see Brenda's body and review all the evidence found in Brenda's house. Vallejo agrees. Zoe, visibly panicked about Brenda's death, argues with her father, Leonardo, at home. She urges him to ask Alma, her mother, about what happened since Alma was with Brenda during a weekend getaway. However, Leonardo refuses, claiming Alma is going through a difficult time and cannot be questioned. As they talk, Alma enters and overhears them, asking what questions she shouldn't be asked. Zoe responds by asking about Brenda's death but later softens, hugging her mother and apologizing for her loss. Leonardo then asks Alma if she has spoken to Brenda's family about the burial arrangements, to which Alma replies that the burial will only happen after the investigation is complete. After Zoe leaves, Leonardo suggests a weekend getaway for him and Alma, but she declines, saying she has work commitments and cannot go. At college, Zoe encounters Karina, but Zoe is uncomfortable due to Karina's attempt to initiate a sexual encounter the previous night, which Zoe rejected. Zoe tries to avoid Karina, but Karina confronts her, questioning will Zoe can keep avoiding her for 4 years and apologizing for the previous night's events. Zoe appears surprised by Karina's actions before leaving her alone. During Alma's class on violence and gender, Dario thoughts drift to the weekend getaway with Alma, remembering their dance and intimate moments at the nightclub. Later on, Dario asks a question. Alma tries to answer confidently, but Dario's intense gaze makes her feel shy, causing her to rush through her answer and end the lesson abruptly. As Alma gathers her things to leave, Dario sends her a message. As Alma leaves the classroom, Dario confronts her, trying to start a conversation, but she is visibly annoyed by his persistence. Frustrated, she demands, "Where did you get my private phone number?" To which Dario casually responds that he found it on her Facebook profile. Still irritated, Alma is about to walk away when Dario notices her somber expression and asks if something is wrong. At that moment, the weight of reality hits her. She reveals that her friend Brenda has died. As they sit and talk, Alma reveals a conversation with Brenda before her death, where she had playfully said, "Next week, I'll post a picture of the hot guy I'm making love to, in your honor." Overcome with emotion, Alma breaks down in tears, revealing that she and Brenda had been best friends for over 30 years. Seeing her distress, Dario gently tries to comfort her. After a moment of silence, Alma gathers herself, wipes her tears, and softly says, "I have to go." Without another word, they leave together. At his office, Leonardo sits at his desk when his secretary, Edith, enters. Without looking up, he immediately asks if she called his brother. Edith replies that she didn't, but his brother went to the central police station to check on Brenda's death case. Leonardo's expression darkens upon hearing this. Sensing his unease, Edith asks if something is wrong and notes that he seems worried. Leonardo exhales deeply, his gaze distant, and simply states that he doesn't understand his brother's actions. Esteban is at the morgue, gazing at Brenda's lifeless body, clearly overwhelmed with sadness for the loss of someone he loved, and wondering what led to her death. As he examines the body, Detective Ortega enters, and Esteban reveals that he sees no signs of violence, suggesting that Brenda might have taken her own life. Alma and Dario are at Dario's auto shop while Alma waits for her car to be repaired. During their conversation, Alma questions how a lawyer can afford such an expensive business, to which Dario reveals he inherited it from his late father. He then reassures her that the pain she's holding onto will eventually fade. Alma seeks forgiveness for her harsh treatment of him in recent weeks, except for their first passionate encounter, and Dario accepts her apology. At Detective Vallejo's office, Esteban sat across from him, discussing the details of Brenda's death. Vallejo leaned back in his chair, revealing that Brenda's ex-husband was now living in Spain with his new wife. He explained that the couple had been divorced for about 3 months, making it unlikely that the ex-husband was involved in Brenda's murder. Vallejo then pointed out that alcohol and an intense, passionate encounter had been part of the events leading to Brenda's death, suggesting that the crime was not premeditated but rather a result of heightened emotions. Curious about the case's progress, Esteban asked Vallejo if any key evidence had been found at Brenda's house. In response, the detective revealed something unexpected. Brenda's phone had received a message one day after her death. He then showed Esteban the message, which was from Alma. It was the same message viewers had seen in an earlier episode, raising new questions about Alma's connection to the case. At the university, Leonardo visits Alma, bringing flowers as a gesture of seeking forgiveness for their recent conflict. As he approaches her office, he encounters Alma's colleague, Nancy. During their conversation, Leonardo is surprised when Nancy informs him that Alma had left the university early. As they finish talking, Leonardo begins to leave, but Nancy asks if it is their anniversary, mentioning that her husband used to buy her flowers on such occasions. Leonardo denies it and leaves the university. The scene shifts to Dario's auto shop, where Alma is filled with temptation and desire as she watches Dario work on a car. When Dario turns his gaze toward her, Alma quickly hides inside the car. The scene transitions from car repair to an intimate moment, with Dario caressing Alma's body, leading to a passionate encounter. Meanwhile, Leonardo leaves Alma a voicemail, explaining that he went to the university to search for her, and he asks her to call him if she receives the message. After their encounter, Alma confesses to Dario that she never cheated on her husband before and feels guilty, but Dario reassures her, insisting that she should not feel guilty for what happened. Alma emphasizes that she is starting to develop strong feelings for Dario. Zoe is at home, reading on her computer. Abruptly, she receives an anonymous message from an unknown sender who introduces himself as Animus, claiming that they met in a past life. Just as Zoe is processing the message, Alma unexpectedly enters the room, startling her. Zoe, surprised, asks her mother why she didn't knock, and Alma apologizes, asking for forgiveness. As they continue talking, Zoe informs Alma that her father had been looking for her earlier in the morning but couldn't find her. Alma, visibly saddened, listens quietly. Later, the two share a heartfelt hug. Alma admits that she feels a little better now and then quietly leaves the room. As Alma enters the bedroom, she notices Leonardo's briefcase and a book on top of it. Curiously, she opens the book and is taken aback when she finds a receipt for the purchase of a necklace. She realizes she has never seen that necklace in their home, which leads her to feel a wave of confusion. A troubling thought crosses her mind. Could it be that her husband bought the necklace for someone else? This realization leaves her unsettled and questioning the situation. The scene shifts to Esteban and Leonardo having a conversation about Brenda's death. Leonardo appears visibly angry, confronting Esteban about his involvement in the case, questioning why he is so invested in Brenda's death. Esteban, with a hint of reluctance, finally reveals that Brenda was his lover. This revelation shocks Leonardo, intensifying the tension between the two men as they grapple with the unexpected truth. Alma is seen emerging from the bathroom, her gaze drifting toward a photo of her and Brenda together. As she stares at the picture, her mind shifts to a haunting memory of seeing Brenda moments before her suicide, with Brenda cutting her right arm veins with a razor blade. The scene then cuts to a later night, where the tension between Alma and Leonardo is palpable. At home, Leonardo standing while drinking wine, visibly troubled, while Alma lies in bed, sleeping restlessly, unaware of the emotional distance growing between them. The heavy silence and the growing rift between them are unmistakable. Dario is seen at the sister ward, looking for his mother, who has been struggling with mental health issues for a long time. He approaches her bedside, gently asking if she's okay, mentioning that Sister Rosalba had said she refused to eat. His mother, however, is unable to respond, her silence speaking volumes. Dario tries to coax her into eating, but she neglects. The scene captures Dario's deep concern and frustration, highlighting the painful reality of his mother's condition. At home, Zoe is frantically searching for her green jacket, asking everyone if they've seen it. The maid suggests that Zoe may have left it at school. Just then, Esteban arrives, and Zoe, still upset, leaves the house, leaving Esteban alone with Alma. Esteban and Alma exchange information about Brenda's death. Esteban reveals that he visited the police headquarters to learn more about the case. When Alma asks how the investigation is progressing, Esteban shows her a key piece of evidence: a voice message Alma had sent to Brenda, mentioning a man who went to the university during her lecture, referring to Dario. As Alma listens, she tries to explain that Brenda had never been involved with anyone, but Esteban presses her to reveal the truth. He informs Alma that the police found a belt in Brenda's room, along with 2 used condoms with sample of semen. Faced with the evidence, Alma finally admits that Brenda didn't have a passionate encounter with anyone, but she, Alma, did. The movie ends with this revelation, leaving a heavy, unresolved tension in the air. Do you want to know what happens next? Make sure to subscribe and turn on notifications so you don't miss out on the next episode. Don't forget to leave your thoughts in the comments and give us a like. The next episode will be available soon. Stay tuned.